So, I've been dying to know. What was going through your head when you fought that ogre?
I knew that whatever happened, I had to get the others to safety.
Lots of people talk about nobility and selflessness, generally in the same stories that have magic beans. Somehow, Hawke, I imagine things won't be dull with you around. Not that I expect the deep roads to be boring, mind you. Constant threat of doom does tend to keep you awake.
If we'll be working together, I should find out more about you.
You're in luck. I'm always willing to talk about myself to beautiful women. My family came from Orzammar, noble house Tethras, until my father got caught fixing provings. He and our whole house got exiled. No huge loss. I was born up here. Sunshine suits me just fine.
Are you a merchant? A mercenary?
I'm a younger son. It's a difficult and dangerous profession. A lot of us die of boredom. Fortunately, being Bartrand's younger brother keeps me on my toes. Maker knows he lacks subtlety. I'm the one who pulls strings to keep the coterie out of our hair, keep us just a whisker ahead of the other families.
Anything in particular I should know about your brother?
To understand Bartrand, you've got to understand the Dwarven Merchants Guild. These are dwarves who would sell their mothers if they thought it'd get them a better share of the lyrium market. Anyone who deals with them has to sleep with a knife under their pillow. In my family, that's Bartrand.
What are your plans for this trip into the deep roads?
Bartrand's running the show. Andraste's ass, he'd probably do that even if we weren't paying for everything. The tide we're looking for is supposed to be a week's travel from the surface, so I hope you aren't scared of the dark. We've got supplies, muscle, excavators. The plan is to carry out everything that's not nailed down.
A lot of things can keep you awake, you know. I wouldn't reach for the doom first.
Sure, I could have a cup of tea in the morning, but I hear it's bad for you. I've spent my whole life in Kirkwall. Dangerous enough most days, but it doesn't compare to the deep roads. So, this will be, let's just call it an adventure, I guess.
Great. Now we're adventurous.
So easy to get friendship with Varric. I mean, it makes sense with the story. He has his own, like, personal room at the Hangin. His big bed and everything. Just... I'm still not entirely sure how. But that's just part of Varric's charm. You don't know much about him. It feels like you know a lot. What are these weapons on the wall? Why can't we use those? Like a dual, like a double-handed, like, sided blade thing. We don't have that combat skill in the game. Maybe Dragon Age 4. Let's check on Isabella. He has different hair now, don't worry about it.
Maker. I think he's ignoring me now. Hey! Is my coin not good enough for you? Oh, Hawke. Thanks for helping me with that little problem I had. You going to buy me a drink to celebrate our victory?
You drink the swill here.
It's an acquired taste.
Oh, before I forget, you still looking for work? Because I have a friend who needs some help. Is this a friend or a friend?
I never let him steer my ship, if that's what you're asking. From what I hear, he doesn't have good control of his rudder. His name's Martin. He has a room right here in the Hanged Man. Tell him I sent you. Now, you going to leave me to my drinking or what?
Whoa, I wasn't controlling that. My hand was away from the keyboard. I don't know why I ran that way. That was weird. I always visit the party member solo as Hawke, just because it feels weird.
Agrigio Pavali. There are 6 bottles in the cellar. Denarius used to have me pour it for his guests. My appearance intimidated them, he said, which he enjoyed.
I can't imagine why they would be put off.
You say what's on your mind, I'll give you that. It's good I can still take pleasure in the small things.
You could have offered me a glass first, you know?
There's more, if you're really interested.
Perish the thought. How else would you redecorate the walls?
I've wanted to leave my past behind me, but it won't stay there. Tell me, have you never wanted to return to Ferelden?
I have no home left to return to.
The Blight is over. You could rebuild what you lost. Do you truly not want to?
My mother came from Kirkwall. Our heritage is here.
Having a place where you can put down roots, I understand. Still, to have the option must be gratifying.
Do you intend to keep living here?
I haven't decided. For now, it's as good as any other place. I would return to Saharan if I could, but there is no life for me there.
Is that where you're from?
So I've been told.
Were you very young when you left then?
Perhaps.
You've been on the run a long time then.
3 years now. Denarius has a way of finding me. Perhaps it is the markings. Whatever the means, it never takes him long to follow. This is the first time I've given him reason to pause. I suppose there are advantages in numbers.
Haven't you sought help before?
Hirelings, when I could steal the coin. Never anyone of substance. Until you. Denarius will not give up, however. I await his return.
What if he does give up? What then?
Then I go to him. I will not live with a wolf at my back.
Sounds like the right idea to me.
If it comes to that, I doubt it will.
You could track your former master down, I assume.
I imagine he has returned to Minrathous, though I dare not go near the city while he is alive. No, it is better to wait for him to leave his fortress, fight from a fortified position. I do not expect your help when that day comes, but I would not turn it aside.
Maybe it's just me, but it sounds like you want to stick around.
I could see myself staying, for the right reasons. I should thank you again for helping me against the hunters.
Yes, you should.
Had I known Anso would find me a woman so capable, I might have asked him to look sooner.
You sound like you're about to ask for a loan.
Well, this mansion does require some upkeep. Perhaps I'll practice my flattery for your next visit. With any luck, I'll become better at it.
Plus 20. Holy crap. I gave Fenris different hair. Well, I guess the other one wasn't super bad. This seemed slightly more normal. Even like the designers for Fenris, like they said, "Oh no, we didn't have time to fix Fenris hair before the game shipped." It's one of their many regrets for not having enough time on his game with Fenris's hairstyle.
I've heard about the Circle of Magi outside of the Imperium, but I've never been in one. Are you certain it's wise for you to be here?
Oh, I'm sure nobody will notice little old me, don't you worry.
Very reassuring. This seems more like a prison. I wonder if it's more effective than the Circle I know.
How is the Imperial Circle of Magi different?
Once upon a time, it was as it is here. The Chantry watched the Magisters closely for any signs of corruption or weakness. Then it changed. The Magisters were permitted to watch over their own, and Templars kept only to enforce the law. What happened next was inevitable. The Magisters rule again, as powerful as they ever were.
You said the Chantry used to watch the Magisters. Why did they stop?
You must remember that the attitude towards magic is different in Tevinter. Magisters came from wealthy families, bloodlines that had nurtured magical talent for countless generations. The Chantry was not trying to control poor peasants, but the scions of the greatest houses in the Imperium.
I thought the Magisters had been thrown down by the Chantry.
On the contrary, Andraste never defeated the Imperium. A great army conquered the south, but not the north. The Magisters eventually surrendered to the Chantry, but they did so on their terms. They kept their influence. Thus, they reclaimed what they lost over the centuries. Some battles are lost by inches.
You talk about the Magisters as if they are all evil.
I have no doubt that some are good and noble men, strong enough to resist temptation. But how many temptations do you wish to offer a man before he will give in? Blood magic is everywhere in Tevinter, from the lowliest apprentice up to the Archon himself.
You can't have seen this for yourself.
Daenerys talked about it often. Of course, they say it's forbidden. Behind the smiles and closed doors, however, it's a different matter. To be a Magister in Tevinter is to be glorious. To be a powerful Magister in Tevinter, that is worth any price.
You're saying the same thing could happen here?
If the mages were permitted to be their own watchers, of course. It is too easy for a mage to resort to blood magic if they feel the need is great enough.
As easy as it is to resort to a sword. You were created as a living weapon. Should you not be trusted with your freedom?
My powers are not controlled by a demon. A mage can desire power, justice, revenge, protection. Any cause will do, and then they are lost.
You're saying that locking mages up is better?
All I am saying is the Imperium offers no answer. All that Andraste did long ago to end the tyranny of magic has been undone.
She ended the tyranny of magic and replaced it with an entirely new one.
Considering all that magic has done to my homeland and my race, I weep for your predicament. Power corrupts, as they say, and mages have power enough already.
So, technically, he's kind of right. Like, anyone, yes, can pick up a sword and start swinging around and murdering people. But that doesn't make them mind-controlled by a completely different entity, on average. Don't worry about it. Fenris is still kind of right. I do think that the circle is necessary to teach mages how to fight against demons. It's like giving someone a flamethrower and then just being like, here you go, and not training them on how to use a flamethrower, and then being surprised when everything is on fire. This is why the circles are necessary. They shouldn't be totalitarian or violent towards the mages or abuse their power towards the mages. They shouldn't be like jails, but they should be a place of learning so the mages can actually understand their powers and learn to use them and control them and not get, their minds taken over by demons.
What the Circle does here is better than the alternative.
An alternative I am very familiar with.
Alternatives are so wonderful for those who have choices.
Freedom is a noble ideal, but I see no oppression here. I see fear and danger. But enough. I'm sure we came here for a reason.
Did we? Okay, and just gonna eat me. It's fine.
What are you looking at? Your sisters were both mages, as was your father.
And I'm not. What of it?
Nothing. It's not always passed to all siblings. But it's good to know you understand our plight.
Shove your plight.
That response. He's like, oh, you know mages, so you know what they... He's like, shut up, bro. You're such a little pansy.
There's Jevon's office. Wait while I explain our initiative.
I don't know how they do it where you're from, guardswoman, but I decide the patrols, not you and your whims. You may have been put up for lieutenant in your first year, but I'll have no show-offs in my command. Have I made myself clear? Report to your post before I have you and your Ferelden accomplice jailed.
Well, what a charming fellow.
I don't have to like him, but he could at least listen. Bandits are dead. That's all that should matter. It's not the first time he's made me wonder like this. Something is very wrong.
So let's find out whose toes you actually stepped on.
Then we should check the duty roster and see who was supposed to take that route. What have I stepped in this time? Threaten my friends. Not letting that one go, Captain.
Aveline! I owe you for clearing that ambush the other night. Saved me a mess of trouble.
Brennan, that route was yours.
it was. Single patrol. I'd have been dead for sure.
A lone guard isn't much of a patrol.
Shouldn't need to be. That route was clear for weeks. First noise out of it was your big fight. The captain reassigned me after he heard what you did, and I passed the satchel to Donnick for his patrol tonight.
The satchel?
Pay and order assignments. Captain has us run deliveries to the outposts during light duty. It's usually just an updated copy of the roster. The satchel for that night was heavy, though. Anyway, thanks again, Aveline. You're a good one.
So the satchel gets heavy the same day we discover an ambush?
You're sure you want to pursue this? This is your superior we're talking about.
If a guard has been put at risk, a good captain would want to know why. And if he's not a good captain, I want to know why.
I bet there's a perfectly reasonable lie that explains why your captain arranged this.
I'd be willing to hear it, but not while a guard may be walking into a trap. Brennan said Donnick. A good man. Donnick. I've got his route. A night walk in Lowtown. Let's go make sure his quiet patrol stays that way. We must be getting close to the ambush. I'm not losing.
Again, we have run into another ambush based on betrayal and corruption. Because Earthwall is a terrible, terrible place. But there's good reason for it, kind of. That we will find out sometime later. Well, they've got it. I have this set to normal.
One more for me! We're keeping
Who? Aveline? You're a beautiful sight.
Guardsman.
I mean, I was on patrol and they came out of nowhere. I took a few down, but there were too many at once. The captain said this route was supposed to be quiet.
The seal of the Viscount. Office details, city accounts.
valuable to a guild of thieves.
A sacrificial delivery with one of our own. Captain Jevon will answer.
Selling out his own? Forget guard captain. This man needs to be in government.
Not now, Hawke. Jevon needs to see how justice works. This goes to the office of the Viscount. This will be known. The captain likes his thieves so much. Let's see if they welcome him in prison.
I'll make it back to the barracks. Thank you for your help.
It's so funny being like, oh, Emily, so good, you're so beautiful, so good to see you, and she's just covered in blood. That's how you know it's meant to be.
How dare you! I am guard captain! I won't be treated like this! Ferelden, bitch, this was none of your affair! I'll see you hanged, quartered! This will not stand!
We found a number of debts to suspect peoples. Such poor character. But you, Aveline Valenne, have proven your loyalty and ability.
The guard deserves better than him, Messire.
Indeed. The Viscount would have you put your care for the men into direct practice. You will assume the captain's job.
What?
In due time, of course. There will be training, approvals, months at least. But who better to rebuild respect than the woman who exposed this embarrassment? Resolve any outstanding business, guardswoman. You will be very busy.
Varric, no.
Well, you're the captain, or you will be. It'll be easy.
I'm not petitioning the Viscount to help you steal ownership of the Hanged Man.
Steal? Madam, you wound me.
I'm about to. Big changes are coming, huh? Captain of the Guard. Thank you, Wesley.
That you keep his memory speaks well of him.
He's not with me. I know that. Wesley's at the Maker's side, or he's not. Either way, he knows no pain. What I keep is that moment. I won't let anyone down like that again.
Wesley's at the Maker's side, or he's not. What do you mean by that?
Wesley believed, and if he was correct, then that's where he is. But this business of the less the Maker does, the more he's proven, I don't find it compelling.
But you married a Templar.
I married a man. A good one. And he's gone. I have heard the chant. It is lovely. Perhaps that's all it needs to be.
I don't see how you can take the blame for the Darkspawn Horde.
I put him to the sword myself, Hawke.
Well, there is that.
I know in my head that it was right. So did Wesley. But in my heart, that cut was cruel.
You clearly miss Wesley. But that's not the issue.
Of course I miss him, but he's not coming back. Pining like a child serves no one. So I remember him, but I let him rest.
You're not so kind to yourself, though.
No.
I can't imagine the captain of the guard will like wandering in my shadow.
It's not like this job means we're on opposite sides. The good you do, it seems rather appropriate. Besides, I'll be making the patrol schedule, and I don't intend to lead from a desk.
I look forward to working with you. Guard Captain Aveline.
Still strange, isn't it? Captain of the Guard. Thank you for helping me get here, Hawke. It's where I should be.
So, Elf, that thing you do with your hand.
I can already tell this isn't going anywhere pleasant.
I bet that makes pickpocketing easier.
I'll try it sometime and find out.
I tell you not to steal, but you know what? Probably fine.
You're very different from other elves.
Oh? You know them all?
No, I just... You look different. There's no denying that.
It is what I am. And unlike the problems you claim to have, I really did have no choice.
Do we know anyone who isn't brooding every hour of the day?
Like attracts like, it seems.
Please, Sir Thrask. He won't go to the Circle willingly, but it's the only place.
Madam, we'll do our best to find your son. But I cannot guarantee his safety if he continues to resist Templar jurisdiction.
He's just a boy.
He's an apostate.
Good to see you again, my dear.
I am sorry for your loss, mistress. But I can offer your son mercy only if he turns himself in.
I'm trying to find him, but...
The Templars cannot tolerate apostates.
This will be Mother if we're not careful.
It sounds like your son is in trouble. Is there anything I can do?
You heard all of that and still you would help? An apostate? Oh, thank you. I am Arianni. My boy, Feynriel. He's all I have. All my family. When I learned he had magic, I could not bear to send him to the Circle. But his connection to the Fade, it gives him nightmares. Dreams of demons speaking in his mind. I would rather lose him to the Circle than to himself.
Those look like Dalish tattoos. Why do you live in the city?
I was born to the Dalish, but came to Kirkwall for a time and dallied with a human merchant, Vincento. When I found I was with child, neither Vincento nor my tribe wished the burden of an elf-blooded human infant. I raised Feynriel myself, here in the alienage.
Tell me the whole story.
I learned years ago that my son likely had magical talent, but we could not bear the thought of him locked in the gallows. So we hid. When the nightmares began, Feynriel still refused to contact the Circle. But I truly think they are the only people who might save his life.
Did your son run away?
He learned I had contacted Sir Thrask. He felt I betrayed his trust. He thinks he can live free of the Circle, but I am afraid without proper training, he'll kill himself.
What kind of dreams is he having?
He dreams of demons, calling to him, pulling him into their world. Every day, it grows harder to wake him. That is why I turned to the Circle. They are the only ones that can protect a mage from his own powers.
What exactly do you need me to do?
Just find him, please. Bring him somewhere safe. I don't know where Feynriel is gone, but there are 2 places you might start your search. Sir Thrask has been looking for him. If you speak to him in the gallows, he'll be able to tell you what ground he's already covered. And Feynriel's father, Vincento, recently returned from Antiva. He's a merchant in the Lowtown Bazaar. Feynriel might have sought him out.
Tell me about this Templar.
I believe he's a good man. He doesn't hate mages, but sees what it took me too long to realize. Even the best-intentioned mages are at the mercy of their sleeping minds.
So, they don't always just make you disappear, like it seems.
There are other Templars who are much less sympathetic.
You and Feynriel's father are not married?
Vincento had no desire for a wife or an elf-blooded child. I haven't seen him since the day I told him. I have written, though, to keep him informed about his child. Feynriel wanted to meet him.
I will not leave you fearful for a moment longer than necessary.
The boy sounds one breath away from becoming an abomination. Let's get to him, fast.
Thank you. It has been a lonely time hiding. It's almost a relief to finally confront this openly.
Vincento, a word with you.
Greetings, my lady. You look like a woman who'd appreciate the finest rubies from Antiva raising her lovely neck. I bring only the best northern merchandise to the free marches.
Actually, I'm more interested in your son.
My lady, I'm a bachelor. I've never met a woman of sufficient beauty and charm to tie Vincento down. Let us not ruin the day with such weighty thoughts. Perhaps I could show you my silks.
We're not Templars, Sirrah. Feynriel has nothing to fear from us.
Maldición, you are a mage. I suppose you'd be kind then to a boy who resists being taken in by Templars?
Oh, sure. Like his family.
The boy's in over his head. So I sent him to the only man I know who doesn't despise mages. A former Templar named Samson.
Why would a Templar help him?
His conscience plagues him, having served the Templars too long. He now helps mages on the run. He stays out of sight during the day. At night, he stays near Darktown. That's the best place to find him.
That sounds a little too good to be true. Okay, let's go find him.
Old Vincento said someone might come sniffing around. You're looking for the boy, right? Feign something. I'll tell you now, there's not much I can do for you.
I'm looking for a retired Templar named Samson.
Retired. Sounds better than burned-out husk of a Templar begging coins in the choke damp. They don't do anything to keep you, you know. You join the Order, you're free to walk away. But they're the only ones who've got the dust.
The dust?
Lyrium, an ore the dwarves mine. Magic in its raw form. You need to drink the stuff to face down the magicers. Problem is, if you ever try to stop, it just about kills you.
Is it true you give aid to apostates fleeing the Templars?
The mages I help, they're no more than children, newly discovered their magic and terrified. Barely left their mother's skirts, and now we're saying they got to be locked away for their own good. That demons are hunting them. Do you wonder they run?
Just looking at you, I'd say you're a man who helps anyone for the right price.
What kind of price?
Your life. Oh, dude, we'll be nice.
How's this?
Right. The lad came to me, not a silver in his pockets. Told him there's nothing I can do for him. I pointed him to a ship captain I know, Rayner. Sometimes he'll take on runaways. Took another apostate last week, girl I sent him. Might have gone wrong though. I heard rumors he took the both of them captive instead.
So your good friend's a kidnapper? Can't say I'm surprised.
Not a friend. Just someone who's not afraid to try this business. Rumor has it, Rayner had the pair of them locked inside a Keys warehouse, somewhere close to dockside. You want to go looking? You might find the lad before he gets ransomed to the Templars. Or worse.
Again, this is another example of someone going, hey, this is how this thing's going to work. We promise everything will be fine. You will be set free. And then it being lies and betrayal. Because Kirkwall is a terrible place to be. Because it is basically been built on top of a horrible area full of curses and misfortune. It'll be all explained later, but Kirkwall's a terrible place. There's a reason for the constant betrayal.
Get a hold of her!
Please, help me. Anyone.
Get the hands! I heard they can't do no spells without hands.
You know nothing of magic.
Well, that's not good.
I'll deal with this.
Olivia's letter to Thras. Father, I know sacrifices you've made to conceal my secret. I am a child no longer. I cannot burden you my whole life, lest my secret destroy us both. I must live my own life as a woman and as a mage. It is oddly freeing to write the word. Farewell, Father. I hope one day you make peace between what you have been taught and what you have seen. All my love. So the Templar's daughter. We just murdered because she was also an abomination. Captain Rainer's account. Sold 2 barrels of fish, 3 barrels of rum, 1 male human maid, 25 Aveline furs. Well, that's gonna end badly.
I thought all dwarves had beards. Where's yours?
I misplaced it, along with my sense of dwarven pride and my gold-plated noble cast pin.
I thought maybe it fell onto your chest.
Oh, the broody elf tells a joke.
I don't brood.
Friend, if your brooding were any more impressive, women would swoon as you passed. They'd have broody babies in your honor.
You're a very odd dwarf.
And you thought I was joking about the pin.
Why, look here, boys. Volunteers. Clap 'em in irons and let's see what the Tevinters will pay for 'em.
Fenris?
Make him talk.
I can do that.
Andraste's great flaming ass! How did you do that? Never mind, I've stashed the boy in a cave, a smuggler hideout on the Wounded Coast. Tevinters will be by to finish the deal today. Now, can I go?
Nope.
Sure. Oh, wait. I meant no.
F you.
Let's finish this.
Aw, made it easy for Fenris.
Looks like they took him to some bolt hole in the Wounded Coast. I wonder if that's near the Injured Cliffs. Or the Limping Hills. Massive Head Trauma Bay. No? Just me? Forget I said anything.
Can't appreciate a good pun, guys. It's giant spiders.
Good start.
Out of your element, dwarf.
No thanks to this lot, can't get a decent blade at a bargain anymore. You, though, you're what a man needs. A skilled enthusiast.
You can start making sense any time now.
My manners. Javaris Tintop, merchant and investor. I need forward thinkers to help court the Qunari.
Court the Qunari? Maker, think of the children.
Those hornheads in Kirkwall have a powder that explodes, and it's just dust. No lyrium, no demons. Anyone can use it.
I often look at every second idiot and think, he needs more power.
I doubt they were eager to sell.
That Arishok said I wasn't worthy. That only their outcast, the Tal-Vashoth, or that mercenary. I said, great, I'll go talk to them. Didn't go over well. But, made me think. Maybe he'll bargain if I get rid of something that bothers him more than, well, me.
The Tal-Vashoth.
The Tal-Vashoth. Are you up for some paid hunting?
Your people must have something like that already.
Small things, shaped to crack faults, not shatter the earth. Plus, they're mostly lyrium. Expensive, poisonous. The Chantry controls it topside. The glow makes you a target. Problem after problem.
What's the point when we already have magic that can do the same thing?
Maybe you have magic, all tough and human and whatnot. But what of the common man? How does he remove stumps from his land, or produce them on his enemies? What does he do when he needs a hole far too fast? Magic is hard to market. But this stuff you can put in a bag.
All right, I'll step in for you. For a price.
I'm done bargain hunting. I want it done right. Now, best I could figure, they're up the Wounded Coast, a whole camp. Take their heads off and meet me at the compound in Kirkwall. Get this right, and we'll be richly rewarded. Richly.